you once again from the Illegal Shift Studios, a special Sunday edition of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Carroll, and Jason, I got to tell you, I'm in a little bit of a weird space right now.
Uh-oh.
I mean, head-wise. I'm conflicted.
Different from any other day.
Well, sometimes I come in here, I'm on one solid level.
It's fair.
Usually in a pretty good upbeat mood, but today I just let me open this beer. That's my first one of the day. So I'm coming off my my poker game last night, which I won, by the way, again.
Ooh, nicely done. I was going to ask.
And this one was sweet because started off, won a couple of early hands, so I had a little bit of house money to play with. And then made some bad decisions. Wound up buying in again.
Meanwhile, I'm drinking my unopened beer because you didn't even introduce me.
I said Jason.
Well,
that's an introduction.
Are we changing everything?
I'm just trying to be conversational.
Are we changing everything?
I'm trying to be conversational.
That's fine. You just let me know how you want to roll. Keep going.
So I had to rebuy, got in, and then for the majority of the night, I was the short stack at the table. But I won a few hands here and there, played pretty well. And then it got to the end. There was a three-way all-in. I won that giant hand.
You were teeing them up all day right now. Short stack, three-way.
Well, I'm just saying.
I know. Keep going. I'm not interrupting.
And our buddy Jim Calder, I knocked him out of the game again. So that's so I'm really feeling good about that. Then it came down to me and our buddy Shepard at the end of the night, and I took home all the money.
There you go.
Or, well, he got his cut, but I took home the winner's share of the money, which is good. So I'm good about that. Now,
well, here, I'll cheers you to that.
Cheers. I'll drink to that. But you can see the Coldie. Normally, when I come in here, I have a One More and I'm Out of Here Coldie holder. This one is not. This is one I got from Panama City Beach because I thought I had my One More and I'm Out of Here Coldie holder out in the car, which I did not. So I'm a little bit bummed about that.
Well, we're almost out, literally. So you're going to be shit out of luck if you keep losing.
No, I have it. It's just I thought I had it. I'm driving a different car right now.
You keep losing them.
I do not lose them.
Okay.
I have several at home.
Okay.
I thought I had one on. I thought I had one in my back pocket. So I'm conflicted about that. And then my wife says she wants to cut the grass. So I'm like, hey, knock yourself out. I said, I'll get the lawnmower out. Make sure it's running. I couldn't get the lawnmower started. Oh, God. So I feel good about some things. You think things are going your way. And then, of course, reality comes up and says, eat a bag of dicks.
The joys of being a homeowner. But you're a big win poker player. You are the next Kenny Rogers.
I'm on the last 4 times I've played poker. I've won everything.
Well, good work.
So I'm feeling pretty good.
That makes up for the last 37 times.
There were a lot of times before that. It took me a long time to get to this point.
But you're a winner right now, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
That's all
that matters. And I get to give Calder shit, which is good too.
I wished I'd have known that because I just saw him. As I had to roll my window down as I was driving by and be like, loser. Wish you'd have told me that. Shit.
He was not happy.
I appreciate the invite last night, but I was under the weather. Friday and Saturday sucked for me. Work sucked. Felt like shit. I laid in bed all day yesterday. Didn't do a fucking thing, and it was glorious. Feel much better today.
Got to have a day like that once in a while.
Feel much better today. Don't sound much better, but I feel much better.
And then the other thing is I was supposed to play golf this morning.
Oh, yeah. I knew you were going to go here.
There's a frost delay. Guys aren't showing up. And so me and my buddy Mike were waiting around. We're hitting a few balls on the range. And he had to be somewhere at 2 o'clock. I had to be somewhere at 2 o'clock. And it just got too late to get 18 holes in. So we had to call that a day early.
That's the second time in a couple weeks for you.
I'm very bummed out about that. So I'm conflicted. So I hope we have a good podcast today. And at least I can walk away from the podcast feeling better about things.
Well, you know what? Those guys that don't show up to your golf game are pieces of shit.
It was. I got to tell you.
And if you want me to write a strongly worded email, I'll do it right now.
It was cold. It was 32 degrees this morning at 8 a.m. when we were down there. So that was. It's hard to fault a guy for not. You would.
Dude, it was fucking cold. Dude.
If it was 32 degrees, you would not show up for a game of golf.
Fuck no, I wouldn't.
Well, there you
Fuck
go.
no. Fuck no.
So I can't.
You're the only dumbass.
It's hard to argue with that.
You're the only dumbass that I know that shows up waiting.
But you go outside right now, it's beautiful.
You're like a fucking golden retriever down there at 7:30, 8 a.m. Who wants to play golf? Who wants to play golf? It's like throwing a dog.
It's not just me.
You said nobody showed up.
No one showed up today.
Yeah.
But during the summertime, we have regular.
Well, it's not 32 fucking
20,
degrees.
25, 30 guys show up.
It's not 32 fucking degrees, Dan.
But it was gonna warm up. Once the sun got up, it warmed up rather quickly.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So you got to struggle for those first few holes while it's cold.
If you're fucking in it, you're in it, I guess.
I'm just saying.
All right. Well,
so that's my state of mind going into the podcast. Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching.
This should be fucking great.
Hit the like button. Because our viewers care about me and you.
Oh, fucking Pappas.
What did he say?
Fucking Pappas.
He's
with his 8th grade fucking acronyms. We've got him in the backstage, by the way. We haven't brought him in yet, and we're not gonna
wuss. Who's a wuss?
What?
Is he calling me a wuss?
No.
All
See, right. I had to ask what it meant too.
All right.
And it's his typical line. You'll see.
Oh, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to ask what it was.
I've told him.
I even Googled it. It wasn't even there.
I told him I know more.
He needs to copyright that.
Than 2 years ago, he needed new material. He's still cranking out the same material that he had years and years ago.
He's your best friend. So
I don't know about that.
Where you want to start, Dano? Where you want to start? We got a bunch of shit. We had
the primary election last week here in Ohio.
Correct.
And
here we'll bring him in for this.
Yeah, let's go.
I think I know which one you're going for.
And so I was very much surprised to find out the day after the election.
Oh Jesus! Look at that.
There's a dude in Ohio's 3rd district. And look, I've got no problem with immigrants to this country, but if you want to come to America, is it asking too much that you at least try to act and behave like and at least make some accommodations to America, to try and act like an American, to try and do American things? Is that too much to ask?
I wouldn't think so.
Especially if you're going to run for elective office.
A state representative office.
So here's this dude.
You're not just a city councilman. You're not just a school board member. You are you're representing in the state house, for fuck's sake.
But this dude, and I don't even know his name, but he runs for office in Ohio's 3rd district, which is largely within the city of Columbus. And I guess there's an assload of Somali people who live there. He wins his primary election. So I guess he's going to face a Republican challenger. If it's, Pappas, I don't know if you know Ohio politics up in that part of the state, but around here, we have a hard enough time getting Republicans to run for any office. But and in Columbus is probably even worse than Hamilton County is. But I don't know if they're going to have a field of candidate to run against this dude who gives his victory speech and not a word of fucking English. Do you have the clip?
I do.
Play the clip. Let's say it's 4. We're not going to watch all 4 minutes of this.
It is low audio. I will try to.
It's not great audio either.
I will try to fix it. Hold on.
I really don't. I don't care. But the translation that I saw was this guy talking about how he's going to put Somalia first. Doesn't really give a shit about America. Loves Ilhan Omar. I mean, it's just disgusting. Here, listen to this guy.
I fucked with it on there. Didn't mean to.
So you see the American flag right there in the room. Then this guy goes on for 4+ minutes in this clip right here. But
I've heard enough. I've heard enough.
Andrew Pappas, am I in the wrong for frowning on this? That this guy is.
Is this a setup question? I want to know if I'm being teed up here or what.
What do you mean? Are you being teed? I'm asking you a question.
You're not in the wrong. I mean, his name is Ishmael. I want to get his name right. His name is Ismail or Ishmael, because there's no H in there, so I'm not sure. Ismail Muhammad is his name.
There you go. And
right. Mr. Muhammad, I don't know. I've been doing some brief searches. I don't know. I'm sure he'll probably face a challenger. Is it the 3rd state district? I think it's a state rep. Yeah, it's state rep.
It's state rep.
Yeah, so it's not like it's a congressional district. It's just a state house. But I'm sure there'll be a challenger for him, even though it is Columbus, which is a liberal, cesspool, and the most liberal city. One of the most liberal cities in Ohio is Columbus, given the fact that the state house is there and the state university is there, and that's usually the case in most states that I've found. Is if you go to the state capital, it's usually like, for example, Texas. The most liberal city in Texas is Austin. It has the University of Texas there, so it's similar in Columbus. But no, you're not wrong. I mean, you're in the United States. You're running for a representative to the state of Ohio, and you give your whole, not even mixed. I don't even think it was subtitled. I mean, it was, and this is the problem when your government congregates immigrants in one specific locale and area. It's the reason we have Ilhan Omar in Wisconsin or Minnesota. It's the reason that we have Tlaib in Michigan. There's no attempt for assimilation was the word you were looking for earlier.
Yeah.
We're not here to assimilate. We're here to maintain our own separate, like a subculture within the United States. And I find it disturbing. I think it's concerning, given that even I believe it was it Tlaib or Omar? I get them confused. One of them said that her first allegiance was to Somalia or to not to the United States, and they were going to censure her, and I don't believe they did. And that was in the U.S. House, but not. I'm concerned that these people have allegiances other than to the government of the country of which they find themselves living in, and yeah, that concerns me greatly.
But they should, to my way of thinking, they should be beyond grateful for the opportunities that they have here in the United States.
No
I mean, I've seen a couple of videos of this dude. His videos come from a nice office. He looks like he's well dressed, well groomed. Doesn't look like he's missing a meal. All his teeth are there. And if he's so concerned about Somalia, then I say, Mr. Muhammad, you are welcome to carry your Somali ass back to your home country.
Now, let me say this, given some more history on the guy. So
that's exactly what
basically he came here in 2005 as a refugee, and he spent a little time in Kenya before coming here. However, to his credit, his father's credit, his father became a citizen because his dad worked with the U.S. Army as an Arabic translator during the invasion of Iraq. So his father at least gets it. But this guy, Mr. Muhammad, who's 31, it is troubling that he doesn't show a little more gratitude. If he came here in 2005 and it's 2024 and you're already being elected to public office, or possibly, what more of an example of what a great country this is, that you are able to achieve so much in such a short period of time. I'll put it to you this way. If I go or you go to another country at a young age, do you think you're going to be elected? Pick a country, name me the one that you're going to be elected to public office within 15, 20 years or anytime, maybe?
Exactly.
No, I don't think so. And I talked about this before when you talk about voting. You get so many illegals in this country that come in and expect that they're going to get work. They're going to get a driver's license. They're going to get handouts from the federal government largesse. They're going to get health care. They're going to get schooling. They're going to get a stipend, so a card so they can go to the grocery store and get food and all the rest of it. So when you have all these people coming here and then can't even bother to show gratitude, and then they want to complain about their housing accommodations, they want to complain about the food, they want to complain about the weather, they want to complain about everything under the sun. I say then carry your ass back to where you came from. Now, in no other place on earth would put up with this kind of nonsense.
This is the policy of one party in this country and one party alone. So let's call it out for what it is. Your Democrat Party thinks that this is the path to find a new demographic that they can constantly rely on for votes, and this is why it's taken place. And don't forget, there's a lot. Let's not let the NGOs off the list for things to be held to account, because there's a lot of NGOs, especially here in Cincinnati, that not only aid but abet illegal immigrants and illegal immigration, and under the guise of compassion and maybe a higher calling for religious purposes, but people should know what their tax dollars and their benefit dollars and their donation dollars are going for. So when you give donations to an organization, I'll call them out, I don't really care. Catholic Charities, for example, runs Sukasa here in Cincinnati, and there was YouTube videos posted not long ago of the amount of illegal immigrants coming and going from that place. So if we're going to hold one to account, let's hold them all to account. And when you donate, you have a choice, and you should know where your donated dollars are going. And if you support that, hey man, that's cool, have at it. But don't pretend like you're not helping these organizations that do. You should question the organizations that help those that work against your particular beliefs. And I just saw a report this morning. A charity or an NGO out of state was giving letters of residency to illegal aliens so they could get assistance. And they were false letters of residency, that they've been living at an XYZ address for a certain period of time and blah, 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 blah. And it's frustrating. And I don't know where it ends, but we've seen what happens with representatives such as Ilhan Omar and Tlaib, members of the squad, that you congregate these minorities and or these ethnic groups. And the sad thing is I think it does them a disservice, because it doesn't allow them to assimilate into the fabric of the United States. I mean, it really doesn't.
I completely agree with that. And going back to the basics of the fact that your victory speech is in all Somali. I understand, and Andrew, I believe you and I were looking at one of the same articles, but there's 45,000 Somalis in the Columbus area. And okay, cool. If you want to do your victory speech and you want to shout out to them because they supported you, he was also running against another Somali in that, and he beat him. You want to throw a little bit of, hey, I got your back, whether they're illegal or whether they're legit. Throw something in there, but do your victory speech as a fucking American to where everybody understands what you're saying.
Have you been to Minnesota? Have you been to Minnesota recently? Have you flown out of the Minneapolis airport recently?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I try not to.
And not. Well, I mean, here's the deal. So in Minneapolis, they've done the same thing that they seem to be doing in Columbus, and there's a really high population of Somali immigrants there. And you honestly, when you're walking through the airport, everybody that works in that airport is Somali. From 99% of people working there is Somali. And you almost are like, man, am I in the United States or where I'm at? Now, hey, listen, somebody just commented, he's in Minnesota and it's little Somalia. It is. Yeah. But I mean, my point is when you set up these enclaves that are simply small little microcosms of where they left, then how many more extra generations is it going to take for those folks to assimilate into the fabric that becomes the United States? And e pluribus unum, which for Jason, since he's challenged, I'll say that means of many one. But
no, you're teaching me something. Okay, cool.
But the thing is, there have been immigrants throughout history who reach very high levels, whether it's in the private sector or the public sector in this country, who have extolled the virtues and the greatness of the United States of America and all the opportunities contained therein. And this is the kind of speech I think, I don't want to put words in Mr. Muhammad's mouth, but he should at least throw a bone to that, talking about how it's worked out great for him, and everyone else in that room can experience the same thing because of the greatness of this country. But when you go out there and talk about, I'm going to put the concerns of the Somali people first.
Look,
to me, that's a disqualification.
It's to me and you, yeah. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think I can speak a little bit to this, maybe at a little better level than most, because I am the son of an immigrant. So there's not multiple generations of being in America in my family. And I will tell you this, although I'm proud of my heritage, I don't wear it on my sleeve per se, but I'm very proud of my heritage. But you know what? I'm an American first. And my dad, came over here with nothing. And my father is the most patriotic American because he knows the virtues and the opportunities that he had in this country. He thanks God every day that he was the luckiest guy in the world to allow to immigrate to the United States and had the opportunity to achieve so much that he wouldn't have in his home country. And I got to tell you, Dan, I agree wholeheartedly with you. I don't see that same level of not even acknowledgement or gratification today. I see anger. I see a lot of people, maybe holding on to fond feelings of their own old country and trying to recreate it here. And I just don't think that's going to bode well for the fabric of this country and what the United States is all about.
And this will be the last thing I'll say about it, is that this community will listen to people like me and you and Jason talk about this, and then they will go out and they will claim victimhood. They will say that we're putting a target on, we're making things dangerous for them. And that's, to my way of thinking, that is not what that's not what it's about at all. But and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, show a little gratitude. We have so many great things here in Cincinnati that were brought to us by immigrants. Cincinnati was called Porkopolis at one time. And you look at the German heritage when it comes to beer, and you look at all the other different things. We have Skyline Chili and Gold Star Chili, started by Greeks in the Cincinnati area. You can go right down the list with all the great things that immigrants have brought to Cincinnati. But like Andrew, like you said, they realized that they would not have had those opportunities but for living in this country. And so when you go out and say and give a 4-minute long victory speech in not a word of English, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we look askance at that and have some natural suspicions. So maybe I'm off base on that, but I don't think I am.
I don't think you are, and I think that he could have. First of all, I don't really think he cares what we think because he get reelected. So
I think that's plain to see.
I know he's going to go for reelection. My question would be, when he takes his oath of office, is he going to remember that he's here to protect and defend the Constitution of Ohio and the United States of America? I mean, that's the oath you take. And if you can't make that oath in good faith, then you really don't have any business serving in that seat. I mean, when I was elected, I took an oath to the Constitution of Ohio and the United States of America. Okay, those two things. There wasn't anything mentioned about any other country, and I didn't give acknowledgement to any other country. And I find it troubling because some of these very same people, and I'm not lumping, I'm lumping immigrants that maybe that act the way you're saying, because there's plenty of other immigrants that come here and they kiss the ground. They say it's the best country, it's the best thing ever. And we have immigrants that are serving. God, their name escapes right now, but we've got some some first generation and some actual immigrants. Think of Ilhan Omar for a second, or Talib. I get them confused, but the one that's from Somalia, that's Omar. I mean, she came here as a refugee, a young refugee, was born in another country, and now is one of the members of Congress in the United States of America. What other country is that going to happen in, guys? It's just not going to happen.
It's never going to happen. Yeah.
And for her to go up there and say that her first allegiance is to Somalia, I find offensive, and it sadly is counterproductive as to what her true oath of office is. Her oath of office is to the Constitution of her state, her home state, and once she gets to D.C., it's also to the Constitution of the United States of America.
Good
And
point right there.
counterproductive is the perfect term for that, because it's completely counterproductive to what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And, and besides the fact she married her brother, which is another subject entirely.
That's a whole podcast in and of itself.
I mean, I didn't know he was my brother, but whatever.
All right, we're gonna play this. We're gonna play this next video. We'll get Andrew's take on it. I'm sure it's gonna be lovely.
Is this one I sent you? Do I know what this one is?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Oh my God.
Am I going to go nuts?
Probably.
Year, and CBO is projecting around 17%. So a significant part of the deficit comes from that. And what President Biden is proposing to do is to ask wealthy people, high-income people, to pay their share.
Oh my God.
It's important that they be successful, that we have an economy that people can invent things and run businesses and earn healthy profits, but then they need to pay their fair share. And with tax rates on dividends and capital gains that are lower than many people pay on ordinary income, with step up of basis, with no taxation of unrealized capital gains, the wealthy pay. I believe a recent calculation shows that some of the very wealthiest people pay on average about 8% of their total incomes in taxes, and that should be remedied. And it provides a very ample pool to invest in our economy and to grow the economy from the bottom up and the middle out.
All right, stop. That's enough. I mean, for God's sake. And Andrew, here's the thing about this. I understand the need for taxes. I understand for everyone to have the notion of everyone having skin in the game. But this is the level of elitism that just bothers me to no end. Who the hell do these people think they are? That they are the ones who can sit there in judgment of others, saying, go out, earn your money, make all the money you can. Good for you. But I am going to sit here and then tell you, Jason Kiefer, because you earned $5 or $6 or $10 million last year, that you need to pay your fair share. And I will be the one who decides what your fair share is. This whole notion, and this has been something that is stuck in my craw for years and years and years, not just with the current administration, but any of these people in Washington. I mean, just this level of snobbery and condescension. I mean, they have total contempt for the American people when they can sit there and say, I am the one anointed by God above, as Thomas Sowell used to call them, and he does call them the anointed. They're the anointed ones. They're the ones who know better than the rest of us how much of your income you should be sending to the federal government. And for her to sit there and just be so matter of fact about it and talk about, well, we have calculated this and this and this, and when we need to have all these rich folks pay more of their money to the federal government to make it better for everyone. Well, what a load of crap! What a complete load of crap! I just hate. I'm so sick and tired of hearing politicians and Janet Yellen there. I don't know if you can really characterize her as the head of the Fed or the Treasury as a politician, but she's a political appointee. But I don't know about you, but it just bothers the hell out of me.
I'm going to jump in here since I can sense your frustration. First of all, she's an elitist. Secondly, just out of, it's nothing more than another way for the Democrat Party to commit class warfare. So, you know, they don't care about the fact that the top 50% of taxpayers, wage earners, paid 97% of the taxes. Okay, there you go, crack that. So, I mean, how much more would you want them to pay? They're paying 97% of the taxes now. And when they start talking, be very, very careful here, because when they start talking about capital gains, first of all, the capital gains rate went up. It was low about 2 years ago, and it's gone up. I think it was at a low of close to, long term was 25%, but I'm not a tax guy, so don't quote me on that. But it's gone up. But the question is, I put my capital at risk, okay? You, me, we go out, we buy, let's say, I don't know, I mean, a bar that's gone out of business on Beachmont Avenue, and we say, hey, let's hypothetically, of course. And we say,
all hypotheticals.
it's all hypothetical. And we say, hey, let's go buy this bar, okay? And so we go, we put, I don't know, 500 grand down or whatever, and it's a success, and we're making money. So somehow, you know, the chances we took, and we're okay paying, you know, 25, 30, 40%, whatever the rate might be, how it is, as taxes. But then someone to come along after the fact and say, man, look at those guys. They're hitting it out of the park. They're making a ton of money, and it's not fair that they're only paying 40%. We need to make them pay 50, 60, 70% of their taxes. Well, then, if that's the case, you and I initially wouldn't take the chance to invest that money into that business and start that business. And that's as simple as that. That's as simple as it gets.
Yeah.
And the other thing
if I'm going to do well and you're going to fuck me, get out of here.
Well, like let's say, for example, another hypothetical. Let's say that someone has done well in life and they've sold certain things or assets, and they have enough money that they could probably live comfortably the rest of their life. Okay, but they want to now maybe do something else. You're removing that incentive, and that person can sit on that money. So that's when they start talking about capital gains. And what they start off with, capital gains. So I buy, you know, but here's the flip side of that. So how many family farmers, when they pass away, or the next generation of the family farm, for example, and you talk about capital gain, a guy starts a farm in, you know, 19 whatever, and couple of 100,000 acres wherever, and he's sitting there, and his estate, he dies, and his estate now has responsible for paying capital gains on the just natural appreciation of that land. He's got to sell off that farm. The heirs to that have to sell off the farm just to pay the taxes on that.
Yeah, through the attrition of people.
Right, and then they start talking about then they'll start talking about unrealized capital gains, which is popular in other countries. Maybe.
That's the new thing now. That's
going
to be the next step.
It's a wealth tax. So then you're really in a pickle, because, you know, they start saying, okay, you have unrealized capital gains. So you bought this at 100. It's now worth 200. We're going to tax you on that 100 because it's a wealth tax, because you've gotten wealthier. You haven't sold it. You still own it. You've done no transaction on it, but because it's worth more, we're going to tax you on that increase in worth. I mean, come on. So let me ask you a question on the flip side. If it goes down, are they going to give you a refund? Or I don't think it works like that. It's not the way
I'm not sure they haven't thought that far through. And if they do, tough luck. But they're talking about not only what your portfolio is worth now, right? Your 401k, if you have stocks, if you have other instruments, real estate holdings.
Hold on one second. I want to ask Andrew, are you beckoning for your servant, or I'm not sure what you were doing?
I need a Snapple. I'm getting all this talking. I'm getting parched.
And I wanted to make sure you weren't having a seizure live.
I need it.
This is the paramedic in me, buddy. I'm just worried about you.
Are you worried? I think you just want to come put your hands on me. That's what I think you want to do. I mean, I'm kind of disturbed at that.
Well, it's usually like this.
Well, neck like that. It's
right,
but I know this idea in Washington has been around for a long, long time, and I think right now we are as close as we have ever been to this actually coming into reality, where they're going to look at the assets that you have and say, you know what, in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, this asset's going to be worth X amount of money. So you owe us the taxes up front on that.
Let me ask you a question. As bad as the Biden administration has been in the last 3 years, what do you think a Biden administration that's a lame duck administration will be like?
Oh, completely out of control.
Yeah, I mean, as
Buckle up.
incompetent, as pitiful, pick any word you want. And you think that Joe Biden is going to be, people will be like, oh, it's his lame duck. You know, he's not going to be that bad. He's just good old Joe. I mean, it's going to be Katie bar the door. Everything will be electric. We'll have no way of producing electricity other than solar and wind, because coal and gas are bad. So we have to, get those out. And God forbid they want to do anything with nuclear. So I'm like, we have it's going to be a unique, and it'll be here before you know it for sure. But it's going to be probably, you hear it said so many times, most important election of your lifetime. Man, the future of the country is going to be decided this November. And there's a lot of things on the line here. And I'm puzzled that it's even up for discussion, given that the absolute slow train wreck we've been watching the last 3 years. But people hate Trump, and they can't they just can't get over their Trump derangement syndrome and separate the man from his actions. So they're going to, it's possible that Joe Biden wins this. If he makes it to November, now let's caveat that, because there's a fairly good chance something might happen to him before November, but who knows? He might be removed from the ballot. Who knows?
We'll see.
This actually rolls right in. So I'm going to throw this one up. Andrew, I'm glad you were able to be here today.
Well, I'm missing I was going to go sun outside. I have a chair set up, and I was going to go get some vitamin D. So.
Is there enough sun for you? I'm just curious to get through that sweater of yours when you take your shirt off. But this rolls right in. It rolls right into the political part.
So offended.
I know you are.
Yeah.
How about this? Do you think Fannie Willis's train is going to fucking derail the Trump train? Bing, bing. Teed up, motherfucker.
Oh, man. Oh.
I love the fact that she was like, the train is coming. Well, that Trump train's been fucking rolling down the fucking tracks for a little bit.
Somehow I think it's fitting to use the word Fannie Willis and train in the same sentence.
Weird, isn't it?
It just sort of fits.
You see why?
I heard that they're going to allow that case due to some quirk in the Georgia law that is going to go for an appeal. That's what I heard. Her not being removed. Trump's team is going to be allowed to appeal her being left on the case. And look, you and I both know that if you watched it, Dan, I think you said you were watching that, right?
I watched quite a bit of it. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like what the judge did. I mean, the judge is like, look, it's fairly obvious what happened here, but I don't want the city of Atlanta to burn to the ground. So I'm going to kind of I'm going to give a bone to him and a bone to her, and we'll just, continue on down the road. I mean, she also did something I read that she admitted in her testimony that she was using her campaign funds for personal purposes, a lot of it.
Right.
And I will tell you, I don't know the specific Georgia election law, but I could tell you that if you do that here in Ohio, you get into quite a bit of trouble, and you have to maintain very separate and very good records of what you do with your campaign funds. And the fact that she didn't and isn't being prosecuted by the Georgia Elections Commission, I find troubling on so many levels. But sadly, in today's world, we look at things from a political rather than a legal perspective, and we say, oh, well, I know that they might have broken the law, but if we do this, it's going to cause civil unrest, so we really can't have that happen. So for the sake of society and civil peace, we're just going to overlook that. And then also, I will say, it seems like a lot of people in power, I'm really tired. I don't know how John Q. Public feels about this, but I'm really tired of seeing politicians break the law and nothing happens to them. And it just, from the insider trading that goes on that's been documented in D.C., families getting wealthy and wealthy and wealthier from trading on stocks that they have inside knowledge on. If you or I did it, we would be in jail. And the fact of the matter is, I think the public is sick of it. And I think it's time for for us to voice that irritation and frustration and chart a new path in November.
Well, and it's just like I constantly think when I look at this situation about how ill-served the people of Atlanta really are. And look, it doesn't do Fannie Willis any favors for her to be able to get away with stuff like this. It's like the kid in school. If you got a kid in school who's a thief, or you got a kid in school who breaks the rules or maybe punches their principal or does something like that, and they don't get punished for that, you're not doing that kid any favors in the long run. And
Right.
it's now on the adult stage. Well, you're not serving anyone well. And look, I understand it's not uncommon for all the judges and all the lawyers and all the prosecutors and people in office to donate to each other's campaigns. That sort of thing happens in those circles all the time. So I don't think it's that big of a deal that the judge donated to her campaign. But for him to take in all these extraneous things under consideration when he makes a ruling that is pretty clear cut, when you look at all the evidence and everything that they did wrong, it doesn't serve anyone who's interested in the rule of law or justice any good.
I find it amusing again on the simple fact of, oh, the train is coming. Well, she knows it's a fucking Trump train and she's going to bring her own train. Well, who owns those tracks is what I want to know at the end of the day. Because who owns those tracks? Because somebody's going to have to fucking lose. I know where my mindset is, but we'll see what happens. But it's so ridiculous the way the shit was handled down there. And
well, look, most people know. I mean, I just want to remind folks that judge that ruled on her case. First of all, he was not going to have a challenger, and at the A-Town Natty just brought up what I was going to say, but it was he's up for re-election. So I mean, and it's in her district. So you tell me, had he removed her from the case, not only would he probably not have gotten reelected, he may not have survived till election time, given the propensity for folks to look at the protesting that goes on now outside of elected officials' households by certain groups when they don't get their way. So and the fact that a lot of this protest has been encouraged. Look at the Supreme Court justices that were harassed and accosted outside of their houses before the ruling on Roe v. Wade. I mean, we are in a very odd. I will say this, having studied politics for a long time, being involved in it to a certain degree for a while, I will say we find ourselves in very, very interesting times, and they're not particularly happy times. We are this country.
I would venture to use the term volatile.
Yeah, but we're in dangerous times because I mean we are to the point where I think the people are getting so fed up with everything that they say they just want the madness to stop. And if you get in that mindset and you're like, I just want to have peace, I want it to stop, then you're willing to sacrifice things to achieve those goals, meaning freedoms or liberties or something else. I'm okay. For example, I'm okay if we regulate speech as long as the mean speech stops. Well, that's not how our Constitution's set up. And I'm okay to have a income, but my freedoms might be sacrificed. I'll work for the state and get a certain amount of guaranteed income, or I won't work for the state. I'll just sit at home. My point is, people are fed up and they're struggling. They're getting anxious. They're getting frustrated. And when people get in that mindset, they're apt to do things that sometimes they live or their offspring live to regret. And I think we're in really, really interesting times in this country. And November is going to be it's going to be here before you know it. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. I think it's going to get interesting. I do miss. I will tell you though. I do miss on the. I'm sad the primaries are over because Dan, you do morning radio. I mean, I've missed the commercials every 2 seconds on the radio for all the ads. I mean, those were great.
It's such a relief when those political commercials are over. It is because you hear the same ones over and over.
Is that on top of the 3 hours of radio that Dan prepares for, but the hour that he actually does speak?
Well, you got to have commercials.
Well, I
You got to sell,
understand.
buddy. It's capitalism. You got to sell the airtime. But I mean, look, I can you imagine what November is going to be like? I mean, you saw just what the primary ads were like. Just wait till November rolls around. It's going to be.
Don't use the term. Don't use the term, Andrew. Bloodbath. Don't use that.
Oh, I can't. What did I say? Did I say bloodbath? No, I can't.
No, don't say bloodbath.
I can't say bloodbath. Damn it.
Hashtag not a bloodbath.
Not a bloodbath.
See, now we're good on YouTube now. We hashtagged it.
So, and Andrew, before we let you go, give me your thoughts on Ronna McDaniel, who was the head of the Republican National Committee. They finally maneuvered her out of office. You got Trump's daughter in there, who's the co-chair now. And then Ronna McDaniel, not even out of her office for a week, signs a contract with NBC News to be a contributor to NBC. And I guess she's going to be the next John Kasich type and Chris Christie type as a reliable basher of Trump for NBC News. Your thoughts on that? Probably not surprised at all, I would imagine.
This is the kind of thing that really jades people. Okay, it gets you kind of jaded.
I love when you wrote.
First of all, I think that segment I did with you from Houston, that was one of the best segments around. I called in and I gave you a full report from Houston during that very meeting.
You were there. Yeah,
that was one of the best ones around. Look, all these people cashing in their moment of fame to go work for NBC News and then be the quote unquote Trump basher. I mean, it remains to be seen. Remember, I think initially Trump backed her as the initial. That's how she got her job initially. And I think a lot of people's and to be fair, not being so involved with party politics, I really can tell you that sometimes the impression that people get from people in elected office or at least high positions in political parties may not be accurate or fair to them, but it kind of goes with the territory. And I think a lot of people had a problem that she was a cousin, when she's niece of Mitt Romney's. Is that correct? I believe she's his niece. I'm not sure. I think she is.
Yeah. There's a family relationship there.
So a lot of times it's easy to just take your dislike of him and cast it upon her. Look, they did raise. I mean, I heard her speech inside the meeting. I can't tell you what she said because it's secret. But no, that's not true. But I mean, I'll tell you that.
I tell you, but I had to kill you.
No, it was a good speech. I mean, she talked about her accomplishments. They were able to raise a lot of money, and they are taking steps. I was really relieved to hear firsthand from the people there that are running the Republican Party all the steps they're taking to do things such as making sure that they're going to try voter integrity, get the integrity of the vote back. And they've got lawsuits. I want to say it was 47 different lawsuits in multiple states to fight for voter integrity and election integrity. And that's very important. I think that is the key to restoring. Part of the reason that Americans became jaded during COVID was some of the changing of the rules at the 11th hour during the COVID quote unquote pandemic that caused people to have a lot of just really question whether their vote counts. And that's also a dangerous thing. And I think the Republican Party is going to fight to make sure that Republicans are confident that voters is your election has integrity and your vote counts. And as far as the two new leaders of the Republican Party, I'm behind them wholeheartedly. I think that it's the candidate chooses the direction of the party. It really does. Once Trump became the candidate de facto, he gets to say who he wants to run the RNC. And yeah, I think that although his daughter is related to him, she's got a ton of energy, great ideas. She's very successful. She's very well spoken, and I don't see any problem. I think that we're gonna be surprised by the amount of good that comes from this and how well most importantly, how well they perform. And Trump doesn't put up with. Look, one thing I'll say about Donald Trump, and you had to admit, he doesn't put up with subpar performance for very long. He really doesn't. The man is about results. And it's all business. There's not emotional stuff to it. It's all business. And I think that we're going to see that. I mean, could you name for me, because I don't know, do you know, can you name to me who's the Democrat? Who's the head of the Democrat National Committee?
Right now, that's a good question.
I don't know.
Fuck.
The name, I know I would know it if I heard it, but the name escapes me at the moment.
Right. So, I mean, my point is, I mean, the party basically, I think the party, it runs, my point is here, the party is so big that it runs itself. And I said this during your show, but I think it bears repeating. You know, a lot of times people think that, and I might have subscribed to this view at one point or not, I don't remember, but, you know, they talk about, oh, the party's doing this or the party is doing that, right? You've heard that a million times. Was that?
Jamie Harrison.
Oh, thanks. No, I have no idea. Jamie,
Exactly.
You're doing a great job.
Exactly.
No idea. Yeah.
Couldn't pick him or her out of a lineup.
Not even. But my point is that it is the party is made up of just normal people. I met so many good people that were chairmen from other states, and they, you know what, Dan, Jason, they were just like you and I. I mean, I'm not kidding. They talk about the same things you and I talk about. And I didn't meet all of them, but I met enough to be really comfortable with the fact these aren't just a bunch of, I don't know what, the rich donor related, insider type people. I met the one chairman I met from New Mexico. She has a house, her farm backs up to the border, and she was telling me about the instances she's had at her very residence of illegal migration coming across her border. And she's just a regular person. And we all sat out, not all of us, but we were sitting there watching the State of the Union speech, and it was just a hoot to see that these people shared the exact same emotions and feelings I was sharing as John Q. Public.
Right.
Not like saying, oh, well, he means this or inside that or that's not. Man, they were just as adamant as I was, and it was refreshing. And the state of, I want people just out there to understand. You say the party this, the party that, the people are the party. So if you don't like the direction of the party, whether it's a state, local level, get involved and help change it. But don't sit there and say that somebody else or some dark entity is running the party. I think that does us a disservice.
Yep, I agree.
That's good. That is good. Can we record that? Is this recorded?
Oh,
I'd like to play that back.
You were on the internet forever. You were going to.
I mean, that was like gold. Internet gold.
You can scroll through our archives just like anybody else.
Well, I'd like a special archive. Is that possible?
No, definitely not for you.
No, whatever. Apple user.
Andrew, we appreciate you.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for being here. Always great having you on, man.
Going 20 feet that way, and I'm getting horizontal and becoming one with the sun. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Make sure you shave that sweater.
You didn't even give a chance to respond.
Sure didn't.
Well, that was good stuff.
I'm not banning him from the studio though, so that's good. We'll have him back at some point.
It's always great to have Andrew on, and I think I think he sort of gets me centered a little bit because I tend to go off the rails, I think, with some of my commentary, and then his perspective sort of gets me focused on what the central issue of the argument really is. And that's why I like bouncing my ideas off of him.
Sure. He's windy, but I like
He's windy.
He's windy.
It's good stuff.
I don't know if he still has his ears on because he's still backstage, but
good stuff. Good stuff.
No, I do enjoy having him on.
He just said, you cut me off.
I know. Duh. I at least didn't say, hey, what does this sound like? Click. It's like,
oh, God.
Fuck. All right.
Covered a lot of ground there. That was good.
Yeah. Way too long. Way too many politics. Way too many politics for what I want. So now you have an ad read to do.
Oh.
Because here we are, 55 fucking minutes in.
Is that much time gone by already?
Yes.
It was so much fun, though. So much fun.
Jesus, between you two dickheads.
Well, hold on. Let me dial this up right here. Let's talk about, how about the Varner Foundation for Children?
How about Engraved in USA? How's
you
that
want to do Engraved in USA first? All right. Well, our friends.
Because we have a special announcement with this.
We do.
Which I told you about.
And you're going to show the picture, but our friends at Engraved in USA make just so many special and unique, one-of-a-kind products that if you are looking for something that is something that you're not going to find at any store, no matter if it's a Walmart. I never go to Target, but if you go there, I'm just trying to think of different stores off the top of my head. Engraved in USA is the place to go if you want something that is truly unique and truly special. And they have now come up with something that we have talked about on this program. The eclipse is coming up, and they have made a special keepsake. What's the way to describe this? A tumbler, mug?
It's just a steel glass, steel like solo cup, like a
steel,
red solo cup,
like a red
but
solo
metal.
cup. Yeah, and
I don't know if it's actual steel.
You showed me the design a little while ago, and I absolutely love it. And let's show it to our audience right now. And there it is. Look at that. It's got the eclipse on it. It's got the date that the event is going to happen. And that, to my way of thinking, is the cup to have. I'm going to order mine as soon as we're done with the program today. And I'm going to go on engravedInUSA.com and order mine, maybe a few of them. Because imagine watching the eclipse and sipping your favorite beverage out of that cup while the event is taking place.
So with this being such a big deal, and where everybody thinks the world is going to end, apparently on April 8th, they're $6 per 17-ounce metal eclipse cups. Every cup sold, $1 will go to Herking's Heroes.
There you go.
Which those dollars will go to the Herking family. So if you do want to order one, you can go to orders@engravedInUSA.com. Make sure you mention Herking's Heroes. This is something that got thrown literally just probably 2 hours, 3 hours ago. He had shown me this, but then he shot it to me for the podcast. But Dan and I are planning on going and watching the eclipse and hopefully remote
in totality.
Yes,
we are.
He wants to travel forever away to go see 4 minutes. Where
it's not that far.
Where
not
we could go a lot closer and miss 15 seconds of totality.
We're gonna make a day of it. Yes.
But yeah, so we're planning on doing that. So Engraved in USA, they do all kinds of stuff for us. Whether it's, t-shirts, hoodies, all the cups, this type of cup, you have something that you need done, they can absolutely do it. They'll kill it. But,
get those orders in now, because the eclipse is literally 2 weeks from tomorrow.
The eclipse is upon us.
It is 2 weeks from tomorrow. So get your orders in now, and you'll get them ahead of the eclipse.
Yeah,
with the shipping and the quickness, they get all that. They get all their stuff out.
They move and shake. Especially if it's an eclipse one, I'm pretty sure they're gonna expedite those.
So very cool. Another very cool, one of a kind product.
Another design, man, from Engraved in USA. They're killing it.
We love them. We also wanted to talk about the Varner Foundation for Children and Families. Those our friends and neighbors who open their hearts and open their homes to foster kids really are among some of the most special people that we know here at One More and I'm Out of Here. And the fact of the matter is that more than half of those involved in foster care, they have to call it quits. They have to give up. They have to walk away from it after just 1 year of doing it, because a lot of the times the resources to do it just aren't there. And that's where the Varner Foundation comes in. It's a 501c3 nonprofit, and they partner with different foster care agencies around the tri-state area here in southern Ohio and northern Kentucky and southeast Indiana. And they help these families out. They get in a pinch. They got a hole in the roof. They need a new tire. You got a kid who needs a bed, a pair of shoes, something simple like that. Maybe a prescription needs filled, and the family just doesn't have the money for it. Varner Foundation steps in, helps out. A lot of times, all that's needed is a single phone call, and every dime that the Varner Foundation takes in goes to the mission. And I will say it, 100% of the money donated to the Varner Foundation. I don't know how he does it, but Dan Varner is a great guy. And it is a mission that he has been on for many years now, and something that is near and dear to his heart. And he's been a great sponsor of this program, and we are happy to tell you about his organization. And if you can, Any donation, any size will gladly be accepted. VarnerFoundation.org is where you go to look that up and make those donations. VarnerFoundation.org.
Nicely done.
There you
Nicely played. We're gonna go a little long today, just because we're gonna hit a couple just real quick things. So we have our dumbass of the week for one.
Oh, we're gonna do that now?
Not yet.
Okay.
But we did have.
I need to open a beer.
You and Pappas wanted to go on fucking CNBC / Fox News / CNN and all the other bullshit. So we're gonna hit some other things.
Throw it out there, brother.
Funny thing, found another teacher. That's in my wheelhouse that I like to try to find. But this is a little bit different. Little gotcha. You're thinking teachers getting fucked over for a side hustle. It's not the OnlyFans where we're normally going. This teacher outside of Detroit, she's a rapper on her off time.
Really? All right.
So she gets reprimanded. Now, granted, Dominique Brown, who also goes by the rap name Drippin' Honey, was voted Teacher of the Month in December. And a parent apparently heard some of her music and then went to the school board and said that she needed to be reprimanded. Now, I do not know what kind of rap music she sings.
Have you pulled up a selection?
I have not, because I didn't want to get kicked off YouTube. I did not.
Do you suspect it's that extreme?
Does it matter?
Okay.
That's my question. This is my question. Does it matter? Because if any one of these woke ass fucking parents were to get into their kids' playlist or their watch list or whatever else they do in their time when they're in their fucking bedroom, does it matter? She's not getting naked, but all these teachers are getting fired for getting naked on OnlyFans and making money. She's making money as a creative artist, is the way I put that. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, it could be like 2 Live Crew, but I don't care. Doesn't matter. Why is she getting? She's making side money being a performer on a stage. Why does it matter?
I don't know. Does she
exactly?
Does she shove this down the throats of the kids? And what grade are we talking about here? Not that really matters that much, but
she's a history teacher at Taylor Preparatory High School. So she's in a high school.
Okay, but
I can guarantee these kids are listening to worse shit.
But her rap life or her rap stuff, is she shoving that down their throats? Is she making them learn that? Is she?
Of course, stupid article.
Is she working that into the curriculum of the school? It seems to me that she may not be doing that. So
it's funny.
She has this separate side gig that she's doing on her own. As long as it's not hurting the kids in any sort of way, I don't know what the problem is.
So I was able to pull the article up on my phone. When I email it to myself, it won't let me fucking open it. But she was like, ask the parents to come in and watch me in the classroom.
Sure.
Watch me do my job. Watch me at the football games. Watch me drive kids to and from, kids in any rides or whatever. Seems that I'm putting that in quotation marks. Seems like she's doing all the right things as far as teaching. I don't know what the rap is. I will look into it because I'll find it and I'll play a little snippet next podcast, but I didn't have time.
So
but she's rapping.
This article says she works for a Detroit charter school.
Yes.
Which leads me to believe that it is a public school. So I think if you're a public school, you probably have a little less. Say if it was a private or parochial Catholic school, then I think they've got a little more leverage to use to get you out of there if they don't like what you do on the side. But since it's a public school, I don't know how much leverage they have. What do we know? What did the school do? Did they do anything to her? Did they reprimand her?
I know she was reprimanded. Is the way I read it.
Yeah,
but this is something different than what we normally pull up with the OnlyFans, where all right, you're getting naked or you're showing your tits or you're banging somebody and parents are upset about that, even though it's behind a paywall. For one, that's my biggest issue. It's behind a paywall. Who cares? Your kid should be, if they're under 18, they shouldn't have a credit card, so they're using your credit card to get on OnlyFans, for one. But two, I saw this and I was like, oh, that's interesting. She's getting blasted for being a musical artist. I know a ton of teachers that are musicians on their Fridays and Saturday nights and then during the summer. So why is this an issue?
I don't know.
So I threw a little caveat into our normal, oh, we found a teacher that got in trouble. It just boggles my fucking mind. And again, I don't know the type of rap that she's throwing out there, but all of the music out there right now, if you want to get into it, it's there, and you can get it on Apple or Spotify, or you can find it wherever, and don't need a subscription. So why does that matter? She could be saying fuck every other word. Doesn't matter.
Well, let me see. I'm trying to find the lyrics to one of her songs over here. Popular albums by Drip and Honey. So I'm looking at the cover of her album. She's in a
fully clothed.
Yeah. Well, she's got a bikini on, but nothing,
Parents take their kids to Disney World.
Not my cup of tea.
All the time. Oh, definitely.
She's got a single here called Real Bitch. Let's see. Here's another one called Nigga No. Nigga No. Honey
I'm glad you
Economics.
clarified.
Let's see. I'm clicking around on these things trying to dial up the actual lyrics, but I can't. It's not working for me. Here's one called Honey Life. Raw honey.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah, so I can't get the lyrics up. So I don't know what, but
it doesn't matter what she says on.
Is she a good teacher?
She got Teacher of the Month in December.
Teacher of the Month. All right. That's good.
Well, she apparently, and she also said she had no written documentation of this one. So I don't know. I don't agree with it. I think it's bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. Let's see. Let's get to your dumbass of the week.
Oh,
where's this guy at? Fucking idiot. Me being a fireman, it actually works out perfect, which I'm glad you sent it to me.
Recently, I was forced to leave my position due to being a rapper. A single parent's disapproval led to my dismissal.
Oh, she was completely dismissed. Okay,
so
the article I wrote was reprimand. So all right, she got fucked.
Yeah,
my opinion.
The parent wished to stay anonymous. Well, isn't that lovely?
Mm-hmm.
If you're the parent,
this is where I said the woke fucking parents.
If you're the
world.
parent who wants to call her out, then have the gonads to stand up.
Yeah.
And say, my name is, Karen.
You should be able to
I want her gone. Yeah.
Is there a thing of being able to face your accuser? Isn't that a thing?
That is a thing.
That is a thing. I thought it was. All right.
That is. Oh, here we go. Here I found one. Just like honey.
Oh, please wrap this, Dan. Oh my God.
Listen to the girl as she takes on half the world, moving up and so alive. In her honey dripping beehive. It's so good, so good. It's so good, so good. Walking back to you is the hardest thing that I can do for you. I'll be your plastic toy. For you. Eating up the scum is the hardest thing for me to do. Just like honey, just like honey, just like honey.
You're going to read all those?
Just like honey, just like honey.
Hit play. Just hit play on
and,
it.
Hit play on it.
Well,
I mean, my computer's not hooked up to the
That's
thing
all right.
there, but
we might be able to pick it up.
Let's see.
Oh, you got the wrong. You got the wrong shit.
Okay, I got the wrong audio on. But anyway.
Oh God.
So there you go. That's a rap song right there. I just read that. Those are the entire lyrics of one of the songs.
Watching and hearing you do that was fucking fantastic. All right.
So there you go. That was Just Like Honey rap song.
And you should be
not my cup of tea, but if someone wants to listen to that,
and you should be fired for that.
Why should I be fired?
No, I'm just saying she should be
she
fired.
was fired. Yeah, she was.
She
fired.
should be fired for that.
Because of one person complaining. Just like our boy in Indiana. How about our boy in Indiana?
Jesus Christ! I thought we were going somewhere else.
I know. Well, let's show the dumbass of the week,
You're
and then we got to talk about our boy in Indiana.
We
the
don't have
American
much,
flag.
We don't have much to bring up on it.
I know, but we got to show that. Did you find the picture
No,
of his truck?
I didn't.
Oh man. Oh, okay.
God damn it, Dan.
I'll find it. I mean, I'm so excited about this because I think what we had the update, but show the dumbass of the week. Do you want to describe what's happening here? It's pretty self-explanatory.
All right. So the caption is always use a ladder and not a fuel barrel to stand on while welding. Look at this fucking idiot. Anybody? Yep. That'll do it.
As a first responder, how many times have you responded to something almost exactly like that?
Nothing. Exactly like that, but a lot of dumb shit.
And the thing is, you can see the hot part of the metal there fall down and will kind of go right into that old drum of fuel or whatever it was he was standing on.
Yep, little slag. He had a little slag fall off. Fucking moron, dude. But guess what? That is what we call job security.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh at that guy's misfortune.
No, you should. Because
But if you're going to be that stupid.
Should have known better.
Who's worse, that guy or the guy who was shot the gun and almost blew a hole in his head? Maybe they're
close.
They're cut from the same cloth.
It's
pretty
fucking
much.
Close.
Although that guy, I don't know if he's still alive or not, but it was not good for that guy.
I put in the description too a prank that I want to play on you. Let me share this headline real quick. I don't know if you've seen this billboard. This billboard is over in Covington. We cannot stop him. Covington billboard of man eating mac and cheese goes viral. So this guy, they stated that how many fucking gallons? This guy eats mac and cheese all the time. Over 20 gallons of liquid cheese per year. His buddies say that he fucking eats. So they had a billboard made, and it was just a random picture of him. And they paid to have a billboard.
25 gallons?
20 gallons.
20 gallons a year of liquid cheese.
But they had this fucking billboard made. And I want to figure out a billboard for you. I'm gonna do a GoFundMe.
I don't
page
think I consume 20 gallons of liquid cheese in a year.
For something else, Dan.
All right.
Not fucking liquid cheese. But I will find something and I will get a billboard put up of you in your face.
Is it one of those video billboards or is it
no, it's just a billboard.
It's a regular just your standard
just
billboard.
A billboard, Dan. You've seen them for years and years and years.
So what's the purpose of the billboard? Just to goof on their buddies?
His buddies were fucking with him. So the next time he would drive to work, he would see it and be like, what the hell is that? And it's a picture of him just eating fucking mac and cheese.
That is pretty funny. I love that.
Are you trying to send that to me?
Yeah. Is it too late? But anyway.
It's always too late, and you always send me shit late.
All right,
so
but
that's
matter. Okay. So anyway, we had the story last week of our buddy at East Central High School in southeastern Indiana,
which we found that we have an inside in. We didn't know that. We didn't know that, and I'm waiting on response.
Yeah, but Cameron Blasek is his name, and he went to high school at East Central High School one day. Called into the office, and they said you got to get rid of that American flag off your car or off your pickup truck. So we did that story. He comes out. The story gets out. He comes out to the parking lot the next day. All the cars in the parking lot there's his truck right there. You just found it.
Got it.
All the cars in the parking lot have an American flag on it. And the principal he realizes that this was a bad move by the school to tell his kid to get rid of the flag. The principal puts a CYA letter, cover your ass letter out there, explaining or clarifying what really happened. And he said, well, we had concerns from the community, which means just like this teacher, there was probably one person who complained about this kid having an American flag on his truck. So last week we had the update that the American Legion came to this kid, gave him $3,000, okay, because he stood up for his principles. He stood up for the American flag. So they gave him, I don't know if it's technically scholarship money or what, but they gave him a $3,000 award or reward for standing up for his principles. Then there's a company there close by, a local company that does vehicle wraps, and they got a hold of his truck, and never again will anyone say you have to remove the American flag from your truck, because now it cannot be removed.
I'm going to do this easy.
And what this company did, I would love to know the name of the company, because I would love to give them a shout out on the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. But that company took his Dodge pickup truck.
It's the one on the right.
Yeah. And look what they did to it.
They fucking killed it. They killed it.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Oh, Libs of TikTok posted this too. And that's how the thing really took off. How cool is that?
Oh, they
would you love to drive a truck that looked like that?
They smoked that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not doing it on my new truck, but
yeah.
I love the fact that they took care of him for standing up, and I'm super, super proud of the American Legion Post in Harrison to honor him and donate money and whatever. And I'm hoping that we can do the same. But it's so, and ironically, finding out that we know somebody that is family members.
Yeah,
with him.
I can't wait to get that kid on the show.
So we've got that in the works to have him on as a guest.
Here's the name of the company, according to the Indy Star, is GCI Digital Imaging. They offered the custom vinyl wrap of the truck. And then there was a second company that added a flagpole to the truck. So not only does he have does that show the flagpole that's attached to the bumper?
I think it did. I already pulled it off.
So the tailgate says "We the People 1776," and where the trailer hitch is, there's a specially designed flagpole that goes in there, and so he's got the American flag waving behind his truck that's wrapped in the American flag.
Oh, that's great work. Looks
that
awesome.
is so cool. That is so that I came in here saying that I had my mindset wasn't 100%, but that story puts me in a good mood. I absolutely love that.
So TGR said, I would assume the school has an American flag flying to symbolize the tax dollars and federal funding they receive from the American government. Very, very true. Guarantee there's a flagpole.
You would hope so. I would certainly hope so.
I would guarantee it. All right, Dana, we've ran late, but I like it.
But yeah, I'm glad we closed out with young Mr. Blasik. And
we got one more. We got one more thing.
We can't.
This is the true meaning of Hoggin. If anybody out there knows what Hoggin is. And we also caught closed circuit camera of Andrew Pappas
in his natural habitat. You pick which one Andrew Pappas is.
Oh my. The caption was, "This is the last time I take this dog hunting."
I've done a little bit of hunting in my life, so I'm not familiar with all the techniques.
It's not one that I know.
That's exactly.
And you hear the guy in the background going, laughing at his ass. Yeah, that's gonna get us banned, I'm sure.
I'm not sure that's exactly.
This might be our last One More and I'm Out of Here podcast, but we appreciate you.
Not sure exactly that's the way you expect your dog to behave when you're out there,
Dan,
tracking down a wild boar.
I'll ask you the question. You want to go in the woods with Andrew Pappas?